So the next thing that we're going to talk about is streamers. So streamers are one of those flies that is a lot more dependent on the type of fish that you're targeting. Um, Mostly bigger fish, species that are a bit more predatory, that are looking to chase a bigger meal instead of eating little bugs all day long. Those types of fish, you're going to want to try streamers. Some of the fish around the Rockies could be bull trout, brown trout, northern pike, those bigger apex predators of the water sheds, the water systems. Those ones are going to be looking for a bigger meal. So to target those, you're going to give them a bigger meal. Streamers, again, lots of different sizes, patterns, and it all comes down to the natural food source in the river. So if you have a bunch of little minnows that have just hatched, you might go for a smaller pattern. If they're trout, one that looks more like a trout. If you have suckers or whitefish that they're mostly eating, larger, more white patterns. If we get into a little bit the BC rivers, you might have kokanee patterns. Just again, doing your best to match whatever naturally is the food source of the fish in the river. So those are some of the more large patterns. Typically you'll be looking for bigger fish with bigger patterns with streamers. Streamers don't have to be that big. You can even use small little leeches as streamers, little minnows, even smaller leeches, some small white minnows. And again, it all has to do with the food source of the river, the lake that you're fishing in. Sometimes the size of the hook doesn't always translate to the size of the fish you're looking for. What's more important is that you're consistent with their natural food source. So picking flies is never a surefire thing. I wish there was a fly that would always work. I do and I don't, because that would take some of the mystery and the fun out of it. But sometimes when you're really struggling, it can be quite frustrating to not have the right fly or not know which the right fly is. But the best thing you can do is just take that extra time, see what's happening in the river or lake that you're fishing in, understand the fish that you're fishing for, and then just do your best to mimic what might be out there in the natural environment. And try a couple different things and see if you can find some luck in a couple of patterns. All right, so those are your three main categories of flies: your dry flies, your nymphs, and your streamers. Again, it always goes back to doing your best to match the hatch, finding the best flies to mimic what you see out naturally in the environment that you're fishing in. And with that information, you should have a fairly good chance to get your flies matching the hatch well enough to potentially get a couple of bites.